My unmasked presence is the greatest gift I can offer the world. Stop scrolling, because I'm about to admit something I've never said out loud. For most of my life, I hid pieces of who I really was just to fit in. I learned which parts of me were acceptable, which parts made people comfortable, and which parts I should quietly keep to myself. But something changed, because the truth is, the version of me I was hiding was never the problem. The mask was. And today, I'm choosing something different. Not perfection, not performance, not approval, just presence. The raw, unpolished, fully human version of myself. Because the most powerful thing any of us can offer the world is not a perfected image, it's our unmasked presence. And you might be surprised how much freedom begins the moment you stop hiding. Many of us learned how to perform long before we learned how to be. Not on a stage, but in everyday life. We learn which parts of ourselves are welcome, which parts make people comfortable, which parts should remain hidden behind a polite smile or a carefully chosen response. And in the world we live in today, that performance rarely turns off. In 2026, we carry entire digital identities in our pockets. Profiles, images, opinions, carefully curated moments. Every post, every comment, every reaction becomes another opportunity to present a version of ourselves that feels acceptable to others. But maintaining a curated persona requires energy. You must constantly evaluate how you appear, how you sound, how your life looks through the invisible lens of public perception. Over time, this constant filtering creates a quiet mental fatigue, not dramatic exhaustion, but a steady drain. The effort of adjusting yourself again and again so that you fit comfortably within expectations. And something else begins to happen as well. The more we present a polished version of our lives, the more disconnected we quietly feel from one another. Because if everyone appears perfect, successful, and emotionally composed, then no one feels safe admitting the truth. So we scroll past thousands of curated moments, while secretly wondering why we still feel alone. This is the hidden cost of performance. When authenticity is filtered, connection becomes shallow. But there is another possibility waiting beneath the mask. Radical self-honesty, not oversharing, not chaos, not rebellion for the sake of rebellion. Simply the willingness to exist as you are, without constant editing. And something surprising happens when the mask begins to loosen. Energy returns. Because the effort required to maintain a persona disappears the moment you stop performing it. What remains is presence, unpolished, honest, human. But for many people, the real fear is not simply being seen, it is being seen imperfectly. Somewhere along the way, we learned that acceptance depends on presentation, that we must appear confident, successful, composed, and emotionally steady in order to belong. So we polish our words, we adjust our reactions, we hide the parts of ourselves that feel messy or unfinished, not because we are dishonest, but because we are afraid of what might happen if the mask slips. The fear is simple. If people see the real version of me, they might reject me. They might lose respect for me. They might question my value. They might walk away. So we continue performing, even when the performance is exhausting. But something important happens the moment you begin to loosen that performance. The mirror begins to crack. Not the mirror of self-awareness, but the mirror of expectation. The one that constantly reflects who you think you are supposed to be. And when that mirror breaks, something unexpected appears. Relief. Because the energy you once used to maintain an image is suddenly available again. And something else begins to change as well. authentic people start appearing in your life. Not the ones attracted to the polished version of you, but the ones drawn to what is real. Dropping the facade does not repel connection, it refines it. Because authenticity acts like a magnet. The more honest your presence becomes, the more naturally you attract people who value honesty as well. Community begins to form differently, not around status, not around image, not around performance, but around truth. And when that shift happens, another transformation quietly begins inside of you. You stop chasing approval. External validation slowly loses its grip. The constant question of, do they like me, is replaced with something far more grounding. Am I being real? Once the mask begins to fall away, something surprising happens. You become present, not performing, not filtering, not calculating how you appear from the outside, just here, fully available to the moment you are living. Radical presence begins with honesty, the willingness to stop editing yourself in real time, the courage to allow your natural reactions to exist without constant adjustment. And when the performance fades, your attention returns to the world around you. You listen differently, not waiting for your turn to speak, not preparing the perfect response while someone else is talking, but actually hearing them. When you are unmasked, your presence becomes deeper because there is no energy being spent maintaining an image. Everything that was once used for performance becomes available for connection, and people feel that. Because authenticity changes the atmosphere around you. When one person shows up honestly, it quietly invites everyone else to relax their guard. Your vulnerability becomes permission. Permission for someone else to tell the truth. Permission for someone else to stop pretending. And there is something even deeper to recognize about your rawest self. It cannot be replicated. Your experiences, your intuition, your perspective on the world, the subtle way you interpret reality, exists nowhere else. In a time when artificial intelligence can generate content at incredible speed, your humanity becomes even more valuable because no system can reproduce the exact combination of memory, emotion, and awareness that lives inside you. Your presence carries a signature that cannot be manufactured, which means the most powerful thing you can contribute to the world is not perfection, it is authenticity. But living unmasked also requires wisdom. Authenticity does not mean giving every part of yourself away. It means allowing your actions and your values to remain aligned, regardless of who is watching. There is a difference between oversharing for attention and vulnerability that builds connection. Oversharing seeks approval. Vulnerability invites understanding. And when vulnerability is grounded in self-awareness, it becomes deeply powerful. There is another element that protects authenticity as well. Boundaries. Boundaries are not walls that isolate you from the world. They are structures that protect your center. They determine what deserves access to your time, your energy, and your emotional space. Without boundaries, authenticity can easily become exhaustion. But with healthy limits in place, your presence remains steady. You can engage with the world without losing yourself inside of it. Choosing to live unmasked may seem like a small decision, a personal choice, a quiet shift in how you move through the world, but in reality, it is quietly revolutionary. In a culture that rewards performance, choosing honesty disrupts the pattern. It reminds people that life is not meant to be perfected for display. It is meant to be lived. When someone witnesses another human being living honestly, it plants a seed. A quiet question begins to form. What would it feel like if I stopped hiding too? So today, consider one small way you might show up more honestly. It does not have to be dramatic. It might be speaking a truth you normally hold back, allowing an emotion to exist without disguising it, or choosing not to pretend that you have everything figured out. Small moments of honesty create powerful shifts because every time you show up as your real self, you strengthen the foundation of your life. And over time, that honesty becomes your legacy. Not a legacy of perfection, but a legacy of presence. A life lived openly, honestly, and without the weight of the mask. Because in the end, the most meaningful way to shape the future is simply to live as your true self today.